Hi guys, what is up? It's Sedona here. And I am back at it, finally, with another video. So, quick life update, I have officially transferred schools. I know I didn't put that in like any of my other videos, but it's happening. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about my plan for the next 6 weeks. So the hope is to get a schedule going, and hopefully I will be pre-filming and then uploading a video every Monday for the next 6 weeks. There are a couple things that I want to talk about today, but let's get started. So I wanted to talk first about why I transferred. If you see me looking down, I have my notes here. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about why I transferred, how I transferred, what everything is like now, and then maybe some tips for people that are thinking about transferring, or just general information if you want a life update from me. So first, I guess I should tell you what school I went to first and then what school I'm going to now. So at first I went to North Carolina State University, so that's in Raleigh, North Carolina. I am from Connecticut, so it was about 15-ish hours from home, so it was quite far, and it was actually a lot cheaper than the other schools that I applied to. So I applied to App State, UNC Chapel Hill, NC State, University of Vermont, Green Mountain College, which is it's a small liberal arts school in Vermont. They actually closed like last spring. So there's that. So obviously I'm not going there. But anyways, so I went to NC State first. I was there for a semester this past fall, and now I am at the University of Vermont, which is in Burlington, so northern Vermont. So quite a bit of a change. It's actually a lot closer to home for me though. It's only about 4 or 5 hours away from home. And yeah, so first I wanted to talk about why I transferred. So I think the main reason for me was that I wasn't super thrilled about going to NC State. Like, I was excited, because college and all, it was like a big life change, a big life moment. But I was not super duper thrilled about going there. Like, it was like high on my list, but it wasn't my dream school. My dream school was UVM, the University of Vermont. I chose to go to NC State over UVM because it was about $12,000 cheaper every year to go there versus here. I felt that they had similar programs. I'm an environmental studies major here. I was an environmental science major there. They didn't have studies. So it was a little bit different than what I expected. I mean, I was expecting to be excited and, to make all these friends and to have like such a great experience, and I just didn't necessarily have that. So one of the other main reasons why I transferred was that I was not a great fit, or maybe not me, but the program at NC State was not a great fit for me for what I wanted to do. So their environmental program focused a lot more on like harvesting and, technology type stuff, versus at UVM, their environmental programs are a lot more focused on sustainability, and they had environmental studies, which is what I wanted. I didn't want environmental science. One of the other main reasons is that UVM is a lot closer to home and is a lot more similar to home. NC State, obviously 15 hours away. I had people that were really close family friends in the area, as well as a couple hours away. And that really helped with my transition there, but it still wasn't the same. It was a very different climate, and like also campus climate in general. Like, people at NC State I found were not super down to earth. NC State is an engineering school, so that's like their big thing. They're like a STEM based school, and that just wasn't, I wasn't vibing with that. Okay, and then the last main reason was that I was not happy, like, at all. Week 3, I think, I called my aunt and I told her, I'm not happy here. I don't want to be here anymore. Like, I want to transfer. But I didn't know how. Like, I couldn't figure out what to do. I had no idea what the process would be like. And I noticed, like, this is one of the reasons that I wanted to make this video, was because there was nothing on YouTube that was within like the past year for transferring. I had no idea how to go about it. I had no idea, like, I just had no idea what I was doing. So I'm hoping that this will help some of you guys that are maybe feeling a little confused, or maybe feeling like you just want to transfer and you don't know what to do, or maybe you're just here because you're my family and you love me. Hopefully, maybe not, I don't know. Anyways, yeah, so I'm gonna move on to talking about how I transferred. This is like the logistics, so you know, if you don't want the nitty-gritty, skip ahead a little bit. But if you're transferring, I highly recommend that you listen to this. I want to talk about how, and kind of like a timeline of what happened. So at first, I thought about transferring. This was like week 3, week 4, about a month in. I wasn't really super happy. I was having a hard time making friends. The program I was finding was not a very good fit for me. And like I mentioned earlier, I had a conversation with my aunt and then also with my parents. And I feel so grateful to them because they were all so supportive of this. I think they wanted me to come here in the first place, honestly. I wanted to come here in the first place. I should have. I didn't. Yeah, so I talked about it with my aunt and my parents, and I was thinking about transferring at the end of the year and not mid-year, because I was thinking, oh my gosh, I can't transfer mid-year, like I just got here, what if I end up liking it, blah blah blah. If you don't like your school, you're probably not gonna learn how to like it. Like, that's just, it's just not gonna happen, or at least it didn't for me. So I would suggest, if you're not happy, make a change. Just go for it. This is the time to try new things, to go out of your comfort zone, to transfer 20 hours away from your old school. How I decided where to transfer. So for me, this was a relatively easy process. The first time, like as I was going in as a first year student, I had applied to UVM. This was my dream school. I wanted to come here. I didn't. I made that choice. And so the whole time that I was at my other school, I was thinking, I should have gone to UVM. I made the wrong decision, blah, blah, blah. So that was kind of an easy choice for me. And I knew that personally, like if I didn't transfer to UVM, I would still be unhappy, and then I would want to transfer there anyway. So that was the only school, or this, I guess, was the only school that I applied to. I didn't apply anywhere else. I knew that I didn't want to go anywhere else. But if you're not sure about where you want to transfer, I would definitely suggest doing some research, kind of deciding, do you want a big school? Do you want a small school? Do you want a medium-sized school? Do you want to be further from home, closer to home? Like, for some people, it's not a factor in their decisions, but for me, it definitely was. And honestly, it's just nicer to be close to home because, like, the campus environment is a lot different here. It was something I was more comfortable with. As a transfer student, it depends on what school you go to, but some schools will require you, I think most schools require you to either write a couple short answer questions or a transfer essay. So at UVM, I had to write a transfer essay, and honestly, I don't remember if I had to write any short answer questions. I'm pretty sure it was just that transfer essay. And then in addition to that, so I filled out the Coalition application, not the Common App, but the Coalition app allowed you to use, it had like very similar prompts to the Common App for the big essay. So there were two parts. So I actually used the same essay that I used with my Common App, and I just edited it a tiny bit. And then I wrote my transfer application. So for this, I actually went online, did some research, said like, okay, how do I write a good transfer essay? What key aspects are colleges looking for? How generally. So it depends on what your prompt is for your school, obviously, but I would definitely suggest like maybe looking up some statistics about the school that you're looking to transfer to. Like for me, UVM being a really sustainable, like large university was really important to me, and so I put a couple stats about that into my essay and kind of like, you know, buttered up admissions a little bit. But then also I talked about how I was making the best of a bad situation. So like I would go to my professor's office hours and I would do the best that I could, and I would seek out other opportunities within the university. So scores, I did not take the SAT again. I never took the ACT. My SAT score was decent. It definitely was not bad. It was a pretty high score. So I wasn't super worried about that. And honestly, as a transfer student, a lot of the material that I was reading was saying that schools don't necessarily look at your scores as much as they do your transfer essay. So when I found out, I believe I found out that I was getting in like mid to late October. So when I applied, I believe it was still late September, and then I believe I found out mid-October, and then I decided that I was transferring for sure on Halloween, actually. So when I found out, let me tell you, I was like the happiest girl in the world, and that's kind of how I knew that I needed to transfer. We as human beings are creatures of habit. So yeah, I think deciding to transfer was pretty difficult because, you know, I would be leaving my friends and I was finally starting to make really good friends like just before I left, which really sucked. But at the same time, I knew I was going to make so many more friends and I was going to be so much happier with the program and just the whole, like, the University of Vermont as a whole. Okay, so, and then this is like my update, my life update, how I'm doing, how I'm making friends, you know, all that. So yeah, so social life, and like academics, and then also move-in, adjusting to the new school, that sort of thing. So in terms of my social life, I have a lot more friends, which is very, very good. So our like incoming class, or, you know, incoming mid-year group was a lot smaller. There were probably only 75 to 100 of us tops, and a lot of those are still exchange students and international students. So it was a little bit easier, honestly, for me to make friends because for the first 3 to 4 days, I was only hanging out with those people. I think just joining as many clubs as you can, going out to as many events as you can, like, it's, you know, everyone says this, but it really does help. It definitely makes a difference in social life. Academics. So my other school, I didn't really touch on this, but my other school, I was not challenged at all. And I was so frustrated because you pay so much for college, at least in America, that you kind of expect to be challenged. My sort of logic was that if I'm not challenged, I'm not going to be learning as much as I could be. So here, I'm definitely challenged. Like, it's a lot more work, a lot more reading, which I'm completely okay with. Like, I signed up for that. Like, that is exactly what I wanted. And it's definitely been a bit of an adjustment. Balancing academics with athletics or, you know, whatever else you do. So it's definitely important to be a well-rounded student, not just because you want to get a job, or if you're in high school, like, you want to get into college. It's just, I think it's just important. Like, for me, exercise or some sort of like creative release, so like making videos or drawing or painting or even reading, honestly, has always been kind of like my outlet. Move-in day. So move-in day, I was actually planning on making a vlog, but it was so crazy, and the actual like process of getting up here, packing and everything was so insane because I worked pretty much every day over winter break. So I did not have a single second to myself to pack or to even unpack for my old school. So a lot of the things, like as I was unpacking here, I was like, oh, I don't need this. It's cold here. I don't need like shorts and tank tops here. Yeah, so it was just it was crazy, but now I definitely feel like I've settled in a little bit more. And then adjusting to a new school. So this I've kind of covered in all the previous topics, but it's actually been a really easy adjustment for me, which I was not expecting at all. But I think being able to make such close friends like right off the bat has been really important. And then also just the school here like has such a different, it just has a very different vibe. Like everyone here is very kind of go with the flow. They're very down to earth. So that's made it a lot easier for me to settle in and to make friends and all of that lovely stuff. So a couple tips that I actually haven't written these down. I'm kind of just like thinking about this as I go. So my first tip would be to do your research. Yeah, definitely make sure you do your research on the school that you want to transfer to, or even if you're going into college for the first time, do your research, tour that school if you can, do everything you can. Like honestly, I basically online like internet stalked UVM before I came here, which is a little like weird to admit, but you gotta do what you gotta do, people. Just get it over with, you know? I think my second tip would be to go somewhere where you are happy. Like for me, here it is actually a little bit more expensive for me to come. It's not $12,000 more expensive. The finances are a little bit different this time, which was also another deciding factor, which I didn't mention, but I don't know. I don't feel like it's super important to share that, or maybe super prudent to share that online. Anyways, yeah, but like making sure that you're gonna be happy at that institution, I think is more important in some cases if it's like a close tie between this school is like $3,000 more than this school, but this school I don't like as much, and this one's like my dream university and it's a couple $1,000s more. I kind of lost which hand is which, but you get what I mean. Like if your dream school is a couple $1,000s more than your like number 4 or number 5 choice, I would probably go to your dream school. Like if you are super passionate about something, like for me, the environment, and that school is like the perfect school for you and for your studying, I would go there. Like just follow your heart no matter what you do. I guess that kind of is my third piece of advice, is just to follow your heart, trust your gut, and as much as other people are supporting figures in my life and maybe supporting figures in your life, it's ultimately your decision at the end of the day. Maybe ultimately you're the one that's getting this education, not your parents. So go with your heart and do what you want to do. I wish you guys the best of luck if you are transferring or if you're thinking about transfer. I highly recommend it. So I think that's where I'm going to end the video for now. Stay tuned next week, every Monday. Hopefully I will be posting a video for the next 6 weeks or so. Yeah, so stay tuned, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day or night or whatever. I don't know how to end this video. Okay, goodbye people.